Hello, and welcome to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I'm April Atmansky, and I'm here today with...
I'm Jonathan. We're laughing already because we're already thinking about the Dice Man.
The voice, I can't help it.
And I'm Colin Cunningham.
Talking about the Adventures of Ford Fairlaine.
So this is from 1990, directed by Rennie Harlan, who did Cliffhanger and what was that movie? Mindhunter?
Deep Blue Sea.
Deep Blue Sea. But what was the one where...
Die Hard 2. Mindhunter's the one where they're on an island and Christian Slater leads like a team that has to figure out who the serial killer is.
Yes,
And there's like traps and stuff.
Christian Slater
we
gets
saw that movie.
Yeah, he gets frozen by
movie.
liquid nitrogen and then shatters.
Wow, so Rennie Harlan has done quite a few movies that are worthy of this podcast.
Yeah.
And not in a bad way. You know?
Driven, the Sylvester Stallone. If we ever do Driven, I've got some...
I've never seen Driven. Everybody says it's so boring.
Toronto, I have some behind-the-scenes stories because I kind of worked... I did some pre-production work on that movie, and I met Rennie Harlan. He came into the office.
Maybe if it's not a full up, it could be a little Patreon or something like that.
Sure,
We'll have to watch it first to see if it's...
And decide,
if
it's really
worthy
terrible.
of discussion.
Yeah, Rennie Harlan's a guy that like he sunk a whole studio with Cutthroat Island.
That's right.
Oh, God,
Kuroko.
that was him. Yikes.
Yeah.
Yep. What, you're not a big fan of Matthew Modine? a blockbuster star?
Yeah, he was famously married to Gina Davis at the time. He did, what was the one he did with her, The Last Kiss Goodnight?
Yeah, Last Kiss Goodnight. Good fun movie. Shane Black script.
Also shot in Toronto.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Honest Ed's, very prominently featured.
That's right. I think he burned down some heritage building while they were shooting it. It was like some explosion gone wrong, and it ended up like torching the building or something. The city was very bad at him.
Oh, yeah.
And while Rennie Harlan is now trapped in a mixture of DTV land, also directing blockbusters in mainland China.
He's been banished.
God.
He's been banished
to China?
Yeah, like I think, wasn't Chuck Russell doing the same thing?
Oh, he made an Indian film. Chuck Russell did.
Oh, okay. I thought
he made an. Oh, yeah. The Chuck Russell foreign film, not good. I gotta say though, the Rennie Harlan, he made like a thriller in a mortuary called Bodies at Rest. Pretty fun. Saw it theatrically at Yonge and Dundas in Toronto.
What was the one he did with Johnny Knoxville and Jackie Chan?
Oh, awful. Skip Tracer. Terrible.
That was
so
only a
bad.
few years ago. I think that came out.
I remember we went to the Royal, and I think it was a pre-show, and then
playing the trailer, or was it just a clip from the movie?
No, you were playing the clip, or Peter was playing a clip from the movie, and it was like some Jackie Chan action scene, and it looked like the warm-up for the action scene, like they weren't rolling camera.
Like the rehearsal.
It was so slow, and I was so embarrassed. And you told me, and I think, it just cut. And I spoke to one of you afterwards, and you're like, no, that's the scene from the movie. That's the actual.
You know what? That must have been the time that you were playing the other movie, Skip Tracer, right? Because weren't you playing
That's
a movie
why,
called
yes, because I
Skip
edited
Tracer?
a trailer reel for that, and I put the Jackie Chan Skip Tracer trailer into it. I was trying to remember. I'm like, why do we play the Skip Tracer trailer?
It's funny,
and I was like, oh yeah.
I was just thinking about that movie the other day, the other Skip Tracer, which was kind of a downer.
That was the Canadian one, wasn't
it?
Yeah, the Canadian
one.
one.
It was like a neo-noir.
I believe the only 35mm print is still sitting in Peter Kaplowski's living room. The perfect archival quality.
Being used as a coffee table or something.
Yeah, probably.
It's on a milk crate.
So we are here to talk about the Dice Man, though, Andrew Dice Clay.
I was obsessed with this movie as a teen.
So you liked it?
I loved it.
Unironically.
Obsessed by it. Because I was a big fan.
Were you a Dice Man Cometh fan before this?
I was a big Andrew Dice Clay fan. This movie was kind of made at the end of his career. He kind of had this huge moment.
His career lasted from 1989 to 1990.
Spanning 2 whole decades.
2 whole decades. Oh, you beat me to it, April.
That's it. And no one ever heard from him again.
From 1989 to 1990.
No, sorry. Well, his heyday, he kind of had a few years of like, I don't know how I think my friend just discovered one of his stand-ups at the video store.
So you weren't like listening to like, what was it, a record back then? Or did they have CDs?
No, it was VHS. So we... he called us over. Me and my friends watched like one of his stand-up routines. It was great.
He called us over. The Dice Man called me on the phone.
Oh, I
He's
got this VHS tape. I want you guys to watch.
I'm not sure I understand this as stand-up. I should have watched some stand-up before.
No,
it's not.
April, you would have not enjoyed it.
No.
It is essentially him being misogynist, racist.
And that's the joke? How is that a joke?
That's the joke. That's basically the joke,
It's just a character that he plays on stage. It's just like this very...
Some people would argue that character became who he was.
Well, kind of. But I think in Ford Fair, it's very kind of like just mean-spirited and gross and whatever. It's like shock humor type thing. But it's like the character... He plays a very watered-down version of it for the movie.
Oh, so it was way worse.
Oh,
in the stand-up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like every derogatory term you could say he dropped in a stand-up. And the issue with him playing a character is that you see the fans of that special. They do not treat it as a character. They love it. Like, it looks like a Nazi rally.
For sure.
They're like, oh, yeah, Dice Man.
Yeah, for sure.
A bunch of, pickup artists, before they became pickup artists.
Yeah, he's definitely like an exaggerated sort of macho guy. He would come onto the stage with like these big kind of bedazzled...
his outfits
are ridiculous.
The hair.
Yeah, like the leather jacket with like the shoulder pads.
Yeah, and just rhinestones all over it. Like it's nothing compared. This movie, like I'm saying, is a very watered down kind of teddy bear version of him. Very kind of likable in a way.
Yeah,
like,
he's still a pig and sort of a monster, but I don't hate him.
The thing is, with Andrew Clay is that he's a good actor.
Yeah, he's really good.
The Andrew Dice Clay character, like he was inspired by Buddy Love from The Nutty Professor, the Jerry Lewis one. So like the evil version of Jerry Lewis in that film.
So he kinda,
that just became to define him.
Yeah, I see that. You can sort of see it coming out sometimes with his.
Well, yeah, he did a Jerry Lewis.
It's like money.
Yeah. Oh, we'll talk about that shot,
for sure.
which is improv by Andrew Dice Clay, according to Rennie Hartland. Like he was in Woody Allen movie Blue Jasmine. He had a big role in it too.
And most recently in Star Is Born as Lady Gaga's dad.
He's good in Star Is Born as
really
well.
good.
It's a small role, but like he's like a lovable dad, and B, I didn't even recognize him at first. That's how you know he disappeared into the role.
Do you want to hear something shocking? Andrew Dice Clay, actually Jewish.
Yeah, he is. As Andrew Clay Silverstein is his name.
Yep, that's right.
So the dice is made up.
Yeah, it's all just that's his
Rolling the
parents
dice.
gave him that name.
That's his nickname.
Yeah,
so
it was one of the apostles.
this movie,
Dice.
according to, I listened to an interview with Daniel Waters, the one of the writers on this picture,
right.
Most famous for Heathers and Hudson Hawk.
Oh,
no
no
shit! That movie, Colin and me favorite.
I was getting some Hudson Hawk vibes
doing
from
like
this.
Mean Girls. Dan Waters? Am I?
No, you're thinking of his brother, who's a director who directed Mean Girls.
There's another Waters.
Yes. There's another Waters.
Speaking of Hudson Hawk, this is the movie that Colin wanted to pick that week, but then we couldn't find it.
Yeah, this was the weirdest thing. We just like left it to the night before. We were recording and we were like, okay, we'll just do Ford Fairlane. And we'll go to rent it. We couldn't find it anywhere.
So I apologize to people who want to watch this movie. You might have to work a little harder to nail down a copy.
It wasn't released on DVD. I remember picking it up for like $10, but I think it just disappeared and nobody has wanted to tap into that Adventures of Ford Fairlane
I bet
hysteria.
You can get a VHS on eBay or something, right?
Yeah, I had a VHS. I think we rented it when I was a teen when it came out, and I dubbed it. I actually had a Betamax player in my room. So
we've heard your tales of dubbing tapes you rented.
Dubbing
That's
Betamax.
piracy.
Oh, whatever. So I watched this movie endlessly. Just when I was doing stuff, when I was doing schoolwork, I'd always have it on in the background. I just loved it so much.
Did you try to look like Andrew Dice Clay?
Well, I kind of did at that time anyway, because I was into rockabilly. So I had this big like pompadour. And
so that was before you even saw the Dice Man, when you're just like, this guy, he represents me. But so did you enjoy this movie, the teddy bear version, more than Dice Man Cometh?
Yes. Yeah, it was just sort of
Let
more...
the record show.
I think it was more along with my sensibilities. It just less mean-spirited and gross as his like stand-up.
Hickory dickory dock.
Yeah, like that sort of stuff. Whatever. It was kind of fun at the time when we first discovered him, but whatever.
Yeah,
I was a big fan of this movie. And just his persona in this.
Also, I want to say this movie has actually a lot similar with Hudson Hawk. They're both kind of that type of vanity project that are kind of Hudson Hawk is more slapstick, but they're both that kind of comedy / crime mystery, I guess. And they also have a self-aware tone. And they both have a line at the end that talks directly to the audience.
Yeah, there's a lot of...
Will. What was the one in Hudson Hawk? You probably just
remember.
fell out of that plane
I
and
thought
you were fine.
It's like, and that's the end of this chapter. Check in for chapter 2.
Wait, doesn't
Like,
Danny Aiello say like unfucking believable?
Well, something
like that. Where he's like, "How'd you survive?" And he's like, "Oh, there was airbags." And then Bruce Willis is like, "Yeah, that's probably what happened."
That's probably exactly what happened. And
Yeah, it has the same kind of goofy energy. I think like Hudson Hawk is less palatable. It's just a little too wacky and obnoxious.
Also,
at times.
both have a machismo character, but
Yeah.
it's way
Rennie Harlin
more
and
dicey.
Daniel Waters say that they believe one of the mistakes they made was this movie. They did not make it sillier.
Really,
Yep.
I think it kind of
That
finds
they wish it had gone a little bit further.
I think they went perfect.
Yeah,
the
I
perfect
think
amount for
balance-wise, it works for me. If push it too far,
People
and I think
hate this movie. In case
that's
people aren't
so
aware of
weird.
this film.
I remember
This.
it came
It's
out.
derided.
It bombed horribly because, like I said, it was kind of the tail end of his sort of heyday. So the timing wasn't right. It bombed. I think it made like $23 million on a $20 million budget. And I remember that it bombed so bad. Arsenio Hall, I used to watch Arsenio Hall back in the day. And then in his opening monologue, he's like, he said, I don't want to say that Ford Fairlane was a huge bomb, but the KKK put it under my car last night.
I got it. Yeah.
That's a thinker. Arsenio Hall was like the thinking man's talk show.
He really was. Remember when he had Jason from Friday the 13th?
I remember.
It's great.
And it was just Kane Hodder just sat in that chair staring at him the entire time.
Yep.
Well,
Classic.
I mean, just like the thing is about this movie is that I actually laughed at things that were supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but
I would say that like what's fun about Adventures of Ford Fairlane watching it now is that like Andrew Dice Clay is not cool in the movie. Like, we can't all be a young Colin as a teenager finding it cool. But looking back on it now, he's not a dominant like force in 1989 to 1990.
Right.
So it's less like, oh, it's a threat on, what teens are going to do. Like, they're going to start like mimicking what he does in Dice Man comics or stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So he's probably closer to what the Dice Man wanted, which is he's kind of like a loser, and that's what the joke of the movie is.
Yeah,
he's a
gonna
loser, but the women all love him.
Oh, they love him.
Do they ever? This guy everywhere he walks, it's like goes into that sorority, and then everybody just stops. You can hear the record scratch.
The thing is, when that happens in an Andy Sedaris movie, I'm laughing, but this I was groaning. Like,
But you can laugh because you know that Andrew Dice Clay, his career just flamed out that year that this movie came out.
Yeah.
So it's like extra funny that it's like, everybody loves me. It's like, oh no, Dice Man.
always,
You don't know what the next year contains.
That's what is often funny about these vanity projects. That it's like, okay, now every woman in every room is gonna take their top off, and I'm gonna treat them like shit. And then flying newspaper, Ford Fairlane movie, worst movie of all time. That came out the next day.
Ford Fairlane back on the force.
Hero again.
So wait, how does this movie open again?
Well, it opens in like a flash forward. It opens in like present with he's on the beach, whatever, narration. It is like a detective movie, so of course it's going to have...
You're probably wondering how I got
Exactly,
here.
Yeah, and
That's
I mean,
me.
it has a voiceover, which I swear they added later, but Colin
They
thinks
did.
no.
I can say right now they did.
Well, they didn't.
Daniel Waters copped to that fact.
It's ADR. Of course it's going to be added later.
No, but
And,
you know what I mean.
It wasn't in the script. And he also, when he wrote the film, he knew Andrew Clay was going to be in it.
Yeah.
But the Andrew Dice Man persona had not really popped off yet.
Oh.
So he didn't write it for that. But supposedly Andrew Dice Clay and producer Joel Silver added a lot of jokes from his stand-up special into the movie.
Yeah, I can see a lot of those jokes pop up here and there.
Well, they're like in the voiceover that clearly didn't seem like there was enough time. So like he's like going from his house to his car, and he's like putting in a little joke like, "Oh, I bet that broad likes to go down on Fifth Avenue." Oh, like in the voiceover.
Clint Eastwood sucked my dick.
Well, I'm laughing. Well, I just figured it's a detective noir noir movie, and they always have like narration or it's just
I gotta say, Colin, I was laughing as well. Just a big grin on my face the entire time.
Oh, this brought me back. It was just like
So, can we just jump to the club when we're introduced to the rock and roll detective himself?
Yes,
Ford Fairlane.
I was reading up on this, and apparently it was based on, there was a Ford Fairlane character that this writer...
Yeah, there were 2 short stories that were written about him.
Yeah, so this writer, Rex Weiner, he would write for LA Weekly and would do these like little short stories with Ford Fairlane, and I guess a detective in the rock and roll industry.
Oh, wait, so Ford Fairlane wasn't Andrew Dice Clay's stage name?
No,
this was a script that had been in production for like a decade, maybe even more than that.
Yeah, probably for longer. And so, yeah, you can buy them on Amazon. It's like the original Adventures of Ford Fairlane, but the character of Ford Fairlane is nothing like Andrew Dice Clay. He just happens to be a detective that works within the rock and roll industry, the music industry.
Oh, wait, we forgot that actually the movie opens with the lead singer of the Black Plague dying.
Yeah.
Played by Vince Neil for Motley Crue.
Big concert. I will say there's a lot of like pretty big set pieces in this movie.
Yeah,
it's a lot of extras.
It's a slick looking movie. I have to.
It is so slick because when Andrew Dice Clay arrives at the club, he gets the biggest hero's entrance, non-ironically. Like, the crowd parts, there's like smoke in the air, the camera moves in toward him, he steps into the light from out of the darkness, and he does like a cigarette trick, which I heard was part of his stage act a lot as well, right?
Well, he comes in like smoking, and then, he does a lot of the, he would come on stage, he would pull out his cigarette, it would take him like, 10 minutes, and he'd go,
he'd do like a Zippo trick or something like that
and
to like
crick his neck. Yeah, and he'd like pull up he's got like a Zippo holster that's kind of built into his belt.
It's 10 minutes because the crowd needs to die down from being like, dice, man.
And then someone comes up and says, sir, you can't smoke in here. And he's like, fine. So he puts it out, but then like he didn't really put it out.
Does like a little flick, like, no problem.
God.
But he says,
just like a 12-year-old.
Yeah, he's like, Ford, you can't smoke in here. Nobody smokes anymore.
He's so cool. And he walks in.
So even like the movie.
God,
so I was writing like notes here, and I'm like, my God, am I gonna have to write a note about everyone that shows up in this opening?
Yeah. You get Sheila E's on stage, and then he starts talking to Morris Day from Morris Day.
You get the guy that's not Weird Al from Dumb and Dumber, not Dumb and Dumber, UHF. David Bowe is one of the guys.
Wait, who's he?
That?
He's the two. I think it's a gag from his stand-up. It's like the 2 guys come up. One of them's bald. And he's like, get out of my way. And then you never see him again. But like the bald guy's David Bowe from UHF.
Was he the friend from UHF?
Yes, he's the friend from UHF.
I just watched that not
that's
too long
right. Okay. He goes like, hey, what's your names? Like Neil and Bob? Or is it like what you do?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I vaguely remember that.
I think that's a stand-up joke.
It is.
Because it's like random. It's out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So.
And he goes, you're driving home. Take Mulholland. You'll love the curves.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And then he meets Morris Day. And there's a joke that's like... It's like, she's got to shave before she leaves the house, and I don't mean her hair. And I'm like, I guess you mean her genitals.
I thought they said I don't mean her legs.
Her legs.
Her legs, that's right.
Genitals. Yes. Women don't shave their hair.
He's like, I'm not dirty. I'm Morris Day. I meant her head. He should shave it. There's a lice problem going around LA these days.
He's squeaky clean.
So it's kind of like, I think Dice narrates that he used to be in the music producing business, but
a publicist, I think.
Does he just works in the rock and roll? He just does jobs.
How many cases can he get?
That's
just
the thing.
A rock and roll detective.
It's so weird.
Well, it's a plot point that he's not getting paid enough or money at all. But I think that he used to be a musician too, because he keeps trying to sing and shit in this movie.
We find out later that he came to Hollywood with Gilbert Gottfried's character.
Right.
That's a really funny joke.
Which is really funny. And they pull up a picture of them when they first arrived. And I forget the name of the band.
But in this club at the beginning, because he's hunting down David Patrick Kelly, the guy from the Warriors, who's like, Warriors!
Who cannot...
And the guy that Arnold promised that he would save for last, but then he lied.
Right.
Yeah,
Commando.
I recognize him from
his
that.
character's name is Sam the Sleazebag in this movie.
That's right.
And he always plays a sleazebag. Like
It's true.
He was born to play that role.
It's because he's got like the hook nose, right? And like the very angular face.
He's just this little like weaselly guy. I don't know what about him.
So he's like
He's been bothering this
stalking
band.
this poor band, Josie and the
Josie and the
Pussycats. Something like
Not
that.
affiliated with the Archie Company.
Yeah, which is really gross. And then he gets his comeuppance kind of eventually. I don't
Well,
know.
yeah.
But not before that Andrew Dice Clay. He lays with a couple of Swedish meatballs. Oh.
Well, first he goes up to the bar and the bartender gives him his drink, which is a Sambuca milkshake that he lights on fire.
So now, was that a Dice Man thing?
I don't think so. I never
Which
heard
is
that
A,
before.
disgusting, and B, I think it's a joke because no bar would ever have a Sambuca milkshake. But C, you guys remember in The Fanatic where John Travolta is like at a fancy party and he goes, "Can I have a chocolate milkshake?" And he's like, "No, we don't make milkshakes. This is a bar."
Hey, this is Ford Fairlane.
But in
It's
Ford
like,
Fairlane, you can get a milkshake at a bar. I think
Well,
that's
he can get a
joke.
milkshake
Oh,
anywhere.
we got an ice cream machine in the bag just for you, sir.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, because we skipped a very important line when he's walking into the club when a woman asks him his phone number and he's like, "It's 555." And she's like, "Wait a minute. 555? That's only in the movies."
Yeah.
And he's like, "You think this is real life?" Oh!
So yeah, I liked that because it's self-aware, and it also reminded me of like something that would happen in like a Jerry Lewis movie or something. Like
No,
this
Last
is-
Action Hero. That's what it reminded me
Oh,
of. The classic 555 bit.
Like let's take it. Let's. There should have been more like instances of pointing out that this is a movie.
Rennie Harlan agrees with you.
Is this
I
based
don't
on
know
the
if I agree-
commentary?
I don't know if I agree with either
Yeah.
of you.
It's on the commentary. What? I didn't make a decision. Only April and Rennie Harlan said something.
Well, when I say either of you, I mean I'm talking
Me
to
and
April.
Rennie Harlan.
I'm talking
it's
to April
me,
and
Rennie
Harlan.
Harlan. He's here.
Yeah, Rennie Harlan.
I can't do a Rennie Harlan voice. I want him to be cool like James Bond, Freddy Krueger, cool.
I gotta say something. So about this Sambuca milkshake, me and my friends. This is before
Oh my god!
I was like 17 or
no.
18 when this movie came out. And I loved it. I'm like, what the hell is Sambuca? What is the Sambuca milkshake? We didn't know that Sambuca was like a liquor that
It's
you just
black,
buy.
Black licorice.
Tastes like black
liqueur,
licorice.
and it's the most disgusting thing I've ever tried.
I kind of like it.
I don't like black licorice.
It's like
though,
ouzo,
so.
if you tried ouzo before. But you light it on fire, you get the shot. Usually they put like a coffee bean in it. And you light the shot, blow it out, and then drink it. But we didn't know what the hell Sambuca was because we'd never really drank before. It was like still in high school. So I'm like, yeah, we gotta make some Sambuca.
like the
Make
Dice
it.
Man.
The Dice Man. We gotta make like a Sambuca milkshake. And then my friend's like, all right, like my dad has this old liquor book or like, how to make drinks or something, like a cocktail thing. And one of the recipes is Sambuca punch. And I'm like, okay, that's weird.
Okay.
All right, let's make it. Let's get all the ingredients. So we like went out and bought, and he's like, yeah, you need gin, you need whatever.
Were you of age?
I think, I don't know. Probably not.
Legally, Colin cannot answer
Then
that
how
question.
did you buy
April.
this? I guess it doesn't
I
matter.
don't know. And then so I'm like, okay, this doesn't sound right, but okay. So we're like, and then we get to his place and I read the recipe book and it's Sambuanga punch. And he's like, I don't know. It sounded the same. So we're like, oh God.
It's probably better
Yeah,
than
the people,
Sambuca.
the people at the beer store were like, "Oh, this man in a pompadour could not be under 21."
With a mustache. I came in.
A fake mustache.
Sir, you can't smoke in here. And I was like, oh,
Yeah, you're like, "Oh."
where's the Sambuca?
Anyway,
Yeah, we tried to. It was just not working out, and I think we just had like gin and tonics or something.
well, that's a lot better.
And then I found out later that it's you just buy it in a bottle and that's it. You don't make it.
Sambuca, yeah, you don't make it. What are you making it in your bathtub like during Prohibition?
Bathtub,
This is the way the Dice Man makes it. The bathtub Sambuca. Hey.
bathtub Sambuca milkshakes.
Yeah, make the milkshake in the tub. Ew.
Yeah, first you have to lay in it so your skin absorbs its nutrients.
Disgusting.
Oh
Wait,
God.
so we got to get out of this club because we've been here
Yeah,
for
okay, so when do we go to his
David
office?
Patrick Kelly, he shoots a disco ball that falls in his head, and then
Yeah, he's like, "Disco's dead" or something like that.
and then is immediately flanked by these two hot twins who are like, "Oh, Ford," and he says, "Clint Eastwood, I fucked them." Oh,
Oh,
So he's saying
I'm
he
like,
fucked
wait.
Clint Eastwood.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
like,
he did say, "I fucked Clint
yeah,
Eastwood."
he's like, you think Clint Eastwood's tough? Well, I fucked him like he was a girl.
Well, I was going to say he just admitted that, he was homosexual, but it's not because he did the fucking. That's the idea. It's like
guess.
prison rape.
All of his fans.
But wouldn't that still make you homosexual?
Oh, his fans don't think so. They're like, yeah, he fucked Clint
Apparently,
Eastwood.
if you fuck Clint Eastwood, you're just the straightest, most masculine man that ever existed.
So we cut to his big bachelor pad, which is well, how would you describe the architecture of this building?
it's like a beach house.
It's like very 1950s. Everything about it is very 1950s. It looks like an old like Lime Ricky's or something.
Isn't there like wicker furniture in there too?
Probably, yeah. Anything nice. It's like, if Don Draper was like a 20-year-old and lived on the beach, it would look like that.
And then he wakes up, his secretary's calling him, played by Lauren Holly.
Very young
as
Lauren
Jazz.
Holly, yeah.
Lauren Holly,
Yes.
which is the love interest from Dumb and Dumber, who I probably wouldn't even recognize if Colin didn't point that out.
She looks like she's 18 or 19. She looks so young in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looks like she should step out of like, I'm trying to think of what comic book, because she has like that comic booky hairstyle and like the glasses as well.
Yeah, she's like the
Ghostbusters.
the not hot girl. Yeah, April thought it was the...
Well, she looks so attractive even when she's like, I'm just a normal receptionist.
Yeah, you take off those
True.
glasses.
I have short hair and big glasses. But she, Jazz is her name.
Jays.
Yeah, and they used to date, and she's put upon. So it's like I don't get her character. I don't like the whole idea that she's like, I put up with your crap and I do everything for you, but I'm secretly in love with you. And he's
because you're a good man, and it's like, well, I don't know about that.
Like, does she think that they're dating? Because he'll sleep with anything that walks. No, she's just.
And he picks up the phone and he's like, yeah, I just had a couple of Swedish meatballs. Oh, and is she like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't like you had some Swedish meatballs.
So he goes outside. This is the first time we were introduced to the character of the kid, who seems to be this like orphan.
Well, what's funny is I think around this time I was asking you, like, is this a period piece? Because first of all, why is everyone dressed like that?
Yeah, it's 1990. It is a period
No, but like
piece,
we
April.
got Ford Fairlane and like this like rockabilly thing, and this little kid is wearing like a Newsies hat and Spencer's, and he's like, "Hey, Mr. Fairlane, can you find out what happened to my dad?"
Extra, extra! Sam the Sleaze taken down by the rock and roll cop or detective.
Like, we're not even exaggerating.
Yeah,
here,
we're very
people.
kind of like vague on what is this. Some kid that just lives on the beach? Like, it's very strange. But he idolizes.
Is it like a dead kid that Ford Fairlane couldn't save and is now haunted by his ghost?
But he's kind of like idolizes Ford, so he's making Andrew Dice Clay's like lighting his cigarette, and the kid is like imitating all the moves, and then he lights a cigarette, and he's like, oh, and slaps it out of his mouth. Like, come on.
I agree. Ford Fairlane is a bad influence on the youth, like Colin Cunningham as a young boy.
Yeah, he was a bad influence on you.
Yeah, making like bathtub milkshakes.
And then the girls are running away. They're like hailing a cab, and they turn around and like, we just wanted to be held, Ford.
Yeah, they're yelling at him because.
And then he's like, what is it? He's like, that's extra. That's a something from a stand-up, right?
Oh, he says, hey, he turns to the kid, and he's like, they were like Girl Guides. I took 2 boxes. Oh.
Yeah, again, don't appreciate the child pornography aspect to that. Hey, those girls were Girl Guide age, but I get it. It's a joke. It's funny. Box vagina. I had to be explained that, but I understand now.
It's the 90s.
Yeah, it's the 90s. That's why Tone Loc is just rapping on the sidewalk.
Well,
first of all,
People are dancing around him.
First of all, we get a look at Ford's car, which he drives a Ford Fairlane.
So I didn't know that this was a car. Apparently it is, and it's a ridiculously retro-looking.
It looks like your typical kind of 50s.
Something from a 50s diner.
Yeah. The Ford Fairlane, I looked it up like when I was a kid. This is before the internet, right? I'm like, Ford Fairlane, because it has this awesome convertible top. It's like a hard top convertible. So the entire roof like folds up and goes into the trunk.
Oh, and it's not like canvas like
it's
other
not canvas.
ones,
Yeah, it's like an entire like hard top, and it kind of folds up. It probably takes about 45 minutes from the time you push the button for the thing to like go into the roof.
Just hang on a second, baby.
Yeah, hold on. Any minute now. So they were introduced to Tone Loc. Hey,
and he's not a
Ford.
character. He's just in this one scene.
Yeah.
He's rapping. People are dancing around him. He's like, how's it going, Ford?
So I guess he kind of hangs out outside of like Ford's office or his detective office or something like that.
I
just
ask
rapping.
you guys, how do they get so many celebrities or at least known people to be in this movie?
I don't know. Tone
People
Loc was,
love the Dice Man.
Yeah,
He
man.
was that popular?
Oh, he was huge.
Well, the funny thing is because this movie, this was before Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Yeah.
Yes, which would do the same thing, but would be a hit.
Yeah, and Tone Loc was
Yeah.
also in that.
It's true.
Yes, that's right. I don't want to listen to your ass, Ace. Oh! Maybe if Andrew Dice Clay did that, he'd have more of a hit.
Look, talk out
They
of my
have
ass.
a lot similar in terms of, you know,
Well, it's like noir conventions with like a silly
crazy
protagonist in the
personality
middle of
who,
it.
you know, women love him. I mean, it's really just Monica who loves Ace Ventura, but like
I remember
you know.
a friend of mine, we watched, I showed him Ford Fairlane at my place. And then years later when Ace Ventura came out, he was like, he saw it in the theater and was so angry. He's like, they ripped off Ford Fairlane. It's like the same plot.
Pet detective, rock and roll detective.
I know.
It's just like the same plot. It's not the same plot. There's
don't
not
know.
a dolphin missing in this movie.
There could be.
Okay, so what is the plot? We need to get to the big case.
Well, we first introduced, this is the time we first meet Lauren Holly, and she's got my favorite character.
You beat me to it.
The koala bear. Because the
Voiced by, did you notice, Frank Welker.
wait, so
I
wait,
can't say I'm just.
you said he wasn't in the credits though, but it's like
He's not in the credits, but you listen to that is 100% Frank Welker.
Can hear it.
And I just watched the Get a Life episode where there's an alien in it, and it's like, and I was like, the koala's making those same noises, and I'm like, yep, Frank Welker did that alien.
It's
He
such
definitely did this
I
koala.
love the koala, and she says, "Oh, it was a payment from In Excess because they're from Australia."
Yeah.
And this is the running joke in the movies, like the rock stars.
Oh my god! I just got it. They fucking hung the koala bear and didn't. Didn't the member of In Excess hang himself?
This
That
was
is not a
This
joke.
was before. This was
So that was
before.
just a coincidence.
Just a coincidence.
Wow, they really should have just cut that scene out.
Well,
That's in bad taste.
it worked at the time.
Well, like they cut it out like years later, like retrospectively.
No.
Like taking the Twin Towers out, like take the Twin Towers out,
what
get
was
the
that guy
koala out
named
of Ford
in
Fairlane.
Excess?
Michael Hutchins.
Michael Hutchins.
Hutchins
yeah.
or Hutchinson?
Hutchinson. Yeah.
Yeah, so he can't get paid by these, like, nobody's paying me. Milli Vanilli paid me in bicycle shorts. Oh.
Because they wear bicycle shorts. Isn't that funny?
Wow.
April,
that was,
don't edit that silence out.
that was the most awkward silence.
I was like, is someone going to explain that? Or...
They-
That was like the audience on opening night of Adventures of Ford Fairlane, other than Colin in the back being like,
They happen to
Him
wear
and
a
his
lot of
pals.
bicycle shorts, I guess. So.
I was like, is Justin still connected to us? Is his mic off?
just my stone face.
But yeah,
That
so
joke is
there's an
made.
animatronic koala in this movie that looks so bad.
No, it looks.
Oh, it is
come
not
on.
animatronic. It's just a
It's a
puppet.
puppet. Okay, which is even
Yeah.
worse.
I love it. It looks so mechanical.
So that's Colin's favorite thing is the
man.
puppet.
Oh God.
There's some like reaction shots later on where he's like, if I want to lose my boner, I just think of Roseanne Barr naked. And then it cuts to the koala. Is like,
No, the koala was like thought about it for a second. Goes.
yeah.
But I mean, I really feel like this koala bear doesn't belong in this movie unless it was a real bear. To have a puppet in this movie
I disagree.
just looks weird.
Well, because he finds it hung later. They kill it by hanging it from his ceiling.
Oh, wow. Not
here we
really,
go.
but we'll get to that.
I think if it was a real koala, that would be horrifying. Because it's a puppet, it kind of, I don't know. It's not as horrifying. It still is horrifying.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to have to streamline some of the plot because there's a lot of scenes and we don't have time to go through the whole
Yeah.
thing. But the basics is he goes and visits his friend Gilbert Gottfried, who is a shock jock DJ, which is kind of like the
Johnny
role he was
Crunch.
born to play.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
he's doing this insane like voice and then he comes off the mic and he's kind of just talking like normal Gilbert Gottfried
Yeah,
a little
exactly.
bit. And I was like, wow, like perfect casting.
Yeah. Apparently Howard Stern auditioned for this role
I get
and
that.
didn't get it.
Daniel Waters said that one of his realizations that Hollywood was going to be different than he thought it was going to be was when he showed up for the day where Gilbert Gottfried was doing the scene, which was the first day of filming, and Gottfried had not read the script, didn't know his lines, didn't really know what was going
You
on.
never know. He's perfect.
This was when Gottfried was at the top of his game.
Could have been when he
Professional.
was on SNL for all I know.
Oh, God. Those are the worst
Yeah.
years of SNL, as many
The
would
dark
say.
years.
Mark McKinney, Gilbert Gottfried, together at last.
And wasn't Robert Downey Jr. on them as well?
And
Yes.
the guy from Get a Life, Chris
Chris Elliott.
Elliott.
Chris Elliott. Oh, was he on us? Oh, he was. I forgot about
we
that.
both listened to that same episode of What a Cartoon. We're just giving free
Listen,
advertising.
April's waiting for your call. What a cartoon call.
Just giving free advertising to other podcasts now. Anyway, so
Gilbert Gottfried he hires Ford to go look for this girl, Zuzu Petals.
he's an old friend of his. This is where he's like, we were in that band together, and they show that hilarious picture of them.
which is really funny.
Zuzu Petals.
Zuzu Petals. It's a Wonderful Life joke.
Oh, is that? Oh, fuck. Because I was like, what is that? Like,
Zuzu's Petals.
God damn, I'm such an idiot.
That's a Daniel Waters classic, though, because all of his character names are all like references to other stuff.
Man, I'm not smart enough for this movie.
For Adventures of Ford Fairlaine.
Clearly not.
So I love the moment where Andrew Dice Clay, he leaves Gilbert Gottfried's office and he does a little dance with like a silly walk, like, and he goes in ADR like money, 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 money.
It's like money, 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 money,
money, money, money. And that was an Andrew Dice Clay improv that he did on the day.
Yeah, he does a lot of and it's like, what the fuck is that? But go for it.
Jerry
It's
Lewis,
he does
that's
Jerry
what it
Lewis.
is.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Gilbert Gottfried is electrocuted on air. Andrew Dice Clay goes back to the office to find him dead, and we're introduced to Ed O'Neill's character. He's like the police chief.
Yeah, who's always like
Detective
fucking
Anus.
with us, yeah.
What's his name?
I think it's Detective Anus, isn't it?
No, he calls him Anus.
It's probably like Innis, and he
thought-
just calls him
Yeah, he
that.
calls him Anus,
Anus.
Inus or something. But it's kind of like, I like the little backstory that they give him, because he was in a disco band back in the day, Disco Express, and I guess Ford didn't want to. He was like a producer or a.
And he's probably like, well, he is. He's making fun of him because he's like, you were in a disco band and disco's not cool, which is like, come on, like.
But every time they cut, the music just sort of comes on, and he starts singing his famous song "Booty Time."
Booty time.
Booty
But
time.
I do kind of like how like the through line of the music industry is kind of in kind of everything in this
Yeah,
world.
for sure. Everyone's
the
sort of
most
connected
part.
through the industry, which is kinda
even
neat.
this cop kind of who's always coming in and being like, Ford, you're off this case, essentially, even though he's not. Ford is like a private detective, right?
Mm-hmm. Rock and roll
yeah.
detective, you might say.
As we'll get to, we got to zoom through this because we've already been talking about this movie for like 40 minutes.
I know.
We haven't even introduced like Priscilla Presley.
Yeah. So
Yeah, well, she's in the next scene.
Talk
Very next
about
scene.
what the plot is, because there's this confusing thing with rich lady Wayne Newton.
Yeah,
We haven't
and
even introduced Wayne Newton.
Young lady.
Basically, the idea is that like everyone's after these 3 CDs that, when used in tandem, what information does it give?
Reveals
Condom factory.
No, it reveals that Wayne Newton, who's like this famous music producer. What's his
I
name?
think he owns the record label or something.
Yeah, he's a very, very powerful.
The music industry is crooked.
He's pissed off because like his records make the artists a lot of money, but not him as a producer.
Even though he's
well,
clearly
I'm glad Wayne Newton could win
Yeah, exactly.
in today's current
clearly
world.
still super rich.
So he has this plan. He has a second company that just pirates records and sells them on the side, so he makes all the profit. And then it turns out that Priscilla Presley, Vince Neil for Motley Crue, and
this young girl, Zuzu's not actually involved in it all. She's just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
right,
Yeah, she was given the CD by the lead singer of the Black Plague.
who's
Yeah.
played by Vince Neil. So I guess they wanted to blackmail Vince. Oh God, they wanted to blackmail Wayne Newton. So Wayne Newton kind of has them offed one by one.
Yeah.
So the story goes that Daniel Waters, when they were writing the script, they kept cutting away scenes that would reveal the plot of the film. And there was a scene where they would all be in a warehouse and the plot would be explained. And then suddenly Joel Silver called them one day and was like, "We're cutting the warehouse scene." And he's like, "What?" But that's where the plot gets explained.
I will admit, there's a lot of plot in this, and don't
Yeah.
understand it all. And
gets
I mean,
a little
that's
convoluted.
fine for like a noir. Like, it doesn't have to be the most simple. I'm glad that there's too much plot, other than not enough. But it's kind of just like, who the fuck is Freddy Krueger? It doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, Robert Englund shows up in this.
Wait, we're going too fast. Okay, so Priscilla Presley's introduced. Not many jokes.
No, it's kind
Andrew
of a
Dice Clay,
boring
she's like a rich woman. I've seen everything, she says.
And she also wants him to find Zuzu's
Petals,
petals,
yeah.
but she says, "Oh, she's my daughter," which is exactly what Johnny Crunch, Gilbert Gottfried
which is a
said.
lie.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's lying. And then he goes, why does he go and see his friend at the music studio
Morris
again?
Day. I don't know.
But all we need to
so
know.
he goes because he wants to sing, because that's what happens.
Well, this is where Wayne Newton is introduced. He's making fun of Wayne Newton, but he doesn't know he's in the actual like recording studio. Wayne Newton is actually really great in this movie.
I'm not saying
Wayne Newton, now 170-year-old
He
man.
looks horrifying. We saw him in Vegas.
The horrors of
we
plastic
didn't actually
surgery.
see him in Vegas.
No,
you
we-
keep saying that. You keep saying we saw Wayne Newton.
No,
All
okay.
we saw was a picture of
You just
him.
interrupted the story. I'm trying to explain. We walked by the ticketing agent where you could buy tickets for his show, but they had this big like screen TV up showing like scenes from his show. But every time they cut to a close up of him on stage, it was actually horrifying, and it would actually turn people off. Like
He's had a lot of plastic surgery.
his plastic. Like just Google him. Oh my god.
Well, Wayne Newton's like big famous song was like Dun Kashane,
Dun
like
Kashane.
Dun Kashane, and that was in 1963.
That's when he was a kid.
God. Well,
He was 21 years
Yeah.
old.
I mean, I
think.
loved
I made
him
the
in
calculation.
Vegas Vacation, and if anyone thinks Vegas Vacation is a bad movie, you're wrong. It's a good time.
People's gonna fight you.
It's very nostalgic for me, but I mean, and he was looking pretty old then. That was like probably
Yeah.
97 or something like that.
Yeah, he's just like he's kind of has that Robert Goulet look, where it's like the cheesy lounge singer
Well,
with the pencil thin mustache, and
His face now looks like, you know, all those like memes of when they take someone's face and they shrink it.
yeah, where they
Someone's face.
it-
That's what he
it
looks,
looks
like.
like
now,
yeah, if your face had been cut off and then stretched over somebody else's face, like that's what, his,
like leather face.
that's what his face looks like.
But yeah, you're right. He's
I'm
good
sure
in
he's a
this
very
movie.
nice man.
He's really good.
He's
like,
actually kind of menacing,
He's
but also
intimidating,
there's
yeah.
a goofiness to his character.
Well, his performance in this feels like it should be like in a Naked Gun film.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like the serious, you know, actor
this-
as the villain in
this
this.
is funny because Naked Gun, I think 2 or 3 came out after this movie, and not only did they jokingly rip off the poster, but they have Robert Goulet as the
That's
bad
right,
guy.
Robert Goulet.
they ripped off his movie.
he's great
Yeah,
in
so
that
I used to have
movie.
the poster of Ford Fairlane, and at the bottom it would have all the characters' heads, like in little kind of like boxes saying, and Priscilla Presley, blah, blah, blah. And the last was Wayne Newton. And then on the Naked Gun poster, the very last one is Robert Goulet. And they're like, yeah, we couldn't get Wayne Newton.
So, like, the Naked Gun 2 or 3 was ripping off Ford Fairlane.
Jokingly, I think it's just
Poster.
the Robert Goulet part, but they kind of look similar. Robert Goulet is like the Canadian version of
They're both
Wayne
lounge singers.
Newton. They are.
Wait, my manager said that?
Vera said that?
Manager says for you to shut up.
Shut up. Vera
so,
said that?
Ford Fairlane is in a recording session for some dandy who's singing a song, and he's like, "Let me get in here and show you how it's done." Everybody just lets this happen, and there's a completely out of reality musical sequence that happens.
No, I think the lighting man just changed the lights so they're more complimentary to Ford
The room
Fairlane.
like fills with
They all know
smoke
the
and-
song. You know the professional musicians. It's a recording studio band.
Hey, we got that new hot sound you're looking for.
It's an odd reference, but this reminded me of that scene in that Kurt Russell Santa Claus movie where he goes to jail,
sings
and then
in
all of a
prison.
sudden there's just like a microphone there, and the other people in the
Yeah.
tank are in the band, and it's just like it looks like that.
This makes slightly
Don't you
more
mean
sense.
the classic Netflix shot in Toronto, the Santa Claus Chronicles?
Christmas Chronicles?
Christmas Chronicles.
Christmas Chronicles,
Yeah,
right.
so-
Santa Claus Rises, part
So
1.
he sings this song and says to the kid afterwards, he's like, "Now that's rock and roll." And I'm like, "That wasn't rock and roll. That was like this jazz song.
Kind of jazz bluesy.
It wasn't even rock and roll. This is like some easy listening jazz that you'd hear at like some,
yeah.
I don't know."
Oh! Sorry, I'm just reading my notes here, and I just wrote "O" in capital letters, an exclamation mark.
You should be writing that like after every sentence.
So again, I know we're gonna have to go not in order, but I'm gonna jump ahead to what my favorite thing was. And it's after he finds Zuzu Pedals, who is like this like ditzy.
Whoa,
person.
so far!
There's another character. Well, okay, if you could fill in the plot and until then.
You're wondering how I got here.
I don't know.
Let me take
He
you
goes
back.
to a concert. Well, it's actually the funeral for
Of
the
Vince Neil's character.
The Vince Neil character, and
And so we skipped over the introduction of Robert Englund when he goes to.
again, I don't even
Gilbert
know
Gottfried's
what
boat.
his connection is to this.
He's just some creepy weirdo.
Yeah, he just hired.
He's like a
by,
hired assassin.
He's a
Wayne
goon.
Newton.
Yeah, because
Hired gun.
so Billy Idol was supposed to play his role, and then got in
been
this
better.
horrific like motorcycle accident.
Oh no.
Which would explain why Robert Englund is dressed as Billy.
Yeah,
Idol.
and he's doing like a kind of
I thought it was because he was like a sex, S&M guy.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, Robert Englund in his day-to-day life is, as we all
Yeah,
know.
of course.
But
Billy Idol is for sure. Yeah, Billy Idol like wrecked his leg and couldn't do anything for years. So yeah, they swapped it.
yeah, I mean, the scene on the boat doesn't really
No, it
matter.
doesn't matter.
No, but
The
the funeral thing is more important because it's actually like a concert and it's funny. And the Black Plague singer is in a casket that's it's a big glass tube.
Yeah, it's like a plexiglass clear,
which is pretty funny.
tube, which is really
and
funny.
there's a
Well, I had some questions because Ford Fairlane arrives and like the guy in charge of tickets at the funeral is being blown by like four women at once
in the middle of a sea of people.
Yes.
Which I guess they're all doing their own thing. They don't notice, but there's no way his dick is big enough to facilitate 3 blowjobs, let alone 4. And then
he's got
like,
one of those triple dicks.
You want tickets?
It's like what is like Ghidorah?
Yeah, Ghidorah. That's right, Mecha Ghidorah. Yeah, he's like, Ford, you want some tickets? He's like, blow my dick.
No, he's like 300, and he's like, you charged the girls 1, and he says, yeah, but they blew me, and he's like, 300.
Oh my god, I wouldn't blow you. That would be gay.
I like that our Andrew Dice Clay is turning into like, I don't get no respect.
It's not that far.
Rodney Dangerfield.
Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh, tell you.
Oh, that's what we should do on this. Everybody, what is it? Rodney like Doggerfield? or something
Rodney
like that?
Dangerfield.
Rover Dangerfield.
It's Rover Dangerfield.
I forgot about
Is that a full movie or a TV show?
No, it's a full movie.
I thought maybe it was an animated show. That might be fun.
Wait, maybe, I mean, would it be better if it was just a movie or if it had like 21 episodes?
No, that show's got legs, man. It's got to be a TV.
You know what would be
TV show.
funny if we made us all stick to like a theme for the next like 3 picks, and so say
Like nothing but
nothing but
Rodney Dangerfield.
or like say like nothing but dog movies or something like that. That would be funny.
Oh yeah, so it was a movie. It came out in 1991.
Oh my god, that was the year after this movie.
Oh my
Yep,
god.
it was called Rover Dangerfield, like I said. And it's a Vegas show dog gets ditched in the sticks and ends up working on a farm.
He probably used to do stand up in Vegas. This dog.
It's called Roger Dogerfield.
And it looks like the director made this and nothing else. Because both directors had said everything they had
Yeah,
to
they're
say.
like, do you want to make another movie? He's like, no.
Oh, wait.
I'm done.
No, I lied. The director of Rover Dangerfield, one of them, was also a character designer on Food Fight.
Oh,
Oh
no.
no. Oh no.
You don't want that on your resume.
Oh god.
Whoa, and Beauty and the Beast? Wow.
Wait, which one?
Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah, from 1991.
The Disney one?
The Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, the Disney
He's
one.
doing
Jesus.
okay.
I always thought Rover Dangerfield was like a Dawn Blues production.
That's what I
'cause
thought.
It has, and no, it's not.
Oh my god.
It's an independent, apparently.
Wow.
I have so many questions, but back to Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not to be confused with the one where Andrew Dice Clay plays an animated cat in a feature film.
What?
Like cats don't dance? No, okay. I thought he
It's
did.
called Andrew Dice Cat.
Yeah.
Hey, I like to lick my balls.
Oh.
I'm a cat.
Oh.
Hey, there's so this is so much pussy
I
around
mean, you can't
here.
tell me
Oh,
that
man.
wasn't like a
Listen.
pitch at some point.
Colin, we got to write the spec script.
Oh my
Andrew
God.
Dice Cat. I think there's enough.
Andrew Clay
Dice Clay
is still around.
fandom. Yeah.
He could do it.
CG animated, like one of those like B movie ripoffs.
Yeah.
I was-
Andrew Dice Clay as a cat.
I don't know why I just thought of this now, but I was reading some of the IMDb trivia, and it says that Joel Silver almost shut down production of the movie 2 weeks before because Andrew Dice Clay was too fat.
Oh no. That's so mean.
Well, I mean, if he was a woman, that would have happened. So it's good to see that men are also getting
Get me a
berated
bigger leather jacket. Oh.
to hide my weight.
Can you imagine like shutting down a movie because your star is too fat? That's just so
That probably
weird.
happens all the time. Are you kidding me?
It's so bizarre, but it's like you've already invested all this money. You might as well just keep going.
Just
with
put
it.
him in a girdle.
So Andrew Dice Clay goes to the funeral, runs into Zuzu Pits.
It's
and he's
Zuzu
like-
pedals.
Zuzu pedals, my bad. And he's like, let's go. And then they get into a
big car chase.
A crazy car chase, not unlike the one in Hudson Hawk.
Andrew, stop running over those tombstones. It's bad
Tombstones
luck.
look so cardboard.
I thought it was good.
Really? I heard good.
It was well
It's
executed.
a prohibition episode. We keep bringing that up in this podcast. But with the bathtub sambuca and all.
Right.
Okay, anyway,
Yep.
we got to skip this scene, although I did think it was really funny, very silly.
There's a really fun gag where he puts his arm out to shoot Robert Englund with like a spring-loaded pistol, and it just flies out of his sleeve and lands in Robert Englund's car. I laugh. That's a good joke.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, it's kind of like, so he's got that taxi driver kind of, I don't know what they're called.
Yeah, spring-loaded.
Sure.
It's like, you talking to me?
But okay, so after this is when they go to the sorority house, right?
Nope, because he goes to his apartment or his home afterwards,
Yeah.
And
and he
everything
finds a
blows
koala
up.
bear strangled.
Okay, so I was gonna say this is actually one of my favorite scene because I mean very sad about the koala bear, but the girl goes to use the microwave and that blows up. She goes to turn on the TV and that blows up, and then they go outside. His car blows up, and they're like, "Oh man!" And then they go back towards the house, and the entire house blows up. It
Yeah.
was just like it was done in a very way that the comedy I feel worked. It was spaced out enough. It wasn't like a Naked Gun gag, but it also wasn't like a boring bad comedy gag. It kind of worked for me.
It was good. Good practical explosions.
Yeah,
Lots
good
of-
practical
lots of
explosions.
good, like-
You can see Dice Clay and the actor playing Zuzu are in the same frame as the house blowing up.
Yeah, and he gets like yanked back on the wire. It's well executed.
What do we all think about the character of Zuzu Petals? Because I feel like it was a negative depiction of a woman.
It's a Dice Clay movie, man.
Yeah,
She's
get your
okay.
PC police out of here. Oh,
Well, she was kind of annoying, but
She gets better. She ends up helping save the day.
she ends up doing a lot in the movie, but he's constantly like calling her stupid.
Yeah,
and
he's like, "Hey,
moron."
stop talking." Like, God.
we skipped over a whole scene where Dice Clay goes to like a fancy
Oh my
dinner,
God, I
and he
forgot.
like slaps Jazz's breast. He's like, "I said dress up, not dress up."
And I have to say, in this scene, Ford Fairlane does the most egregious, most disgusting thing I've
the
ever
hors d'oeuvre.
seen in a movie, let alone this
yeah.
movie. And he should go to prison.
Oh.
Oh, what he eats an hors d'oeuvre, doesn't like it, starts talking to Wayne Newton, and then grabs Lauren Holly and kisses her against her will, jamming the hors d'oeuvre into her mouth.
I mean, have you ever heard of anything so disgusting?
That's gross.
Like, that is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah,
and
it's
I'm
really-
not exaggerating.
It's really like this,
the worst thing. Yeah, April refused to watch it. Colin just explained it to her.
Well, I didn't even understand why he was doing it at first.
Well, you weren't paying attention, but like the scene kind of starts on this gross, like kind of close up of him shoving this thing into his mouth, like. Wow. There's like flies on all the other hors d'oeuvres as well. It looks like a big like
man.
scallop or something with like an olive stuck into it.
But we're in the past. We got to jump to the future. Oh,
There's a lot of
because
scenes in this movie.
Andrew Dice Clay goes to a sorority house. This doesn't matter. It's just a chance to see women
Doing
eating
aerobics,
pogos.
eating pogos.
and-
This is like
Wait. Pogo is a brand name. Is this just a Canadian thing? Because they're
don't
corn
know.
dogs,
I think
right?
they're corn. I think it's Canadian. They're pogos.
Yeah.
and
Pogos,
In
yeah.
the
They're
States, they're corn dogs.
licking corn dogs. There are like 100 girls in this.
Pillow fighting, changing light bulbs, I think.
Yeah,
Changing
with
light
their, like,
bulbs,
skimpy
wearing
tops, like, hanging
nothing.
out.
It's. I kind of thought it was funny. Again, that was kind of an Andy Sedaris movie.
All set to Billy Idol's "Rock the Cradle of Love" song.
Rock the Cradle of Love.
Yeah,
Sing it for us, Colin.
rock the cradle of love. Oh,
Not bad.
That's Dice Clay's cover.
yeah, he's in the back going, oh,
Yeah.
sing it, Billy.
Yeah, this doesn't really matter because some goons show up.
Yeah,
they threaten Ford Fairlane.
These two goons, I love the way they're dressed. It's like the typical kind of 80s, 90s. You
wearing,
know
like,
the
big dusters?
you know the, yeah, they're wearing big leather dusters and they have like gross, like greasy long hair, and it's just like they look
Very
like
80s.
yeah, 80s henchmen. Yeah, so they show up. They kind of like whatever. I think they kind of
nothing really matters.
There's like a previous
plot-wise.
scene where they mess up Ford Fairlane's office and they throw Jazz out of a window.
But she's okay,
Yeah.
folks.
She's
Because
okay.
we were on the second floor.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, oh.
I like how that our O's are getting like
We need
less
to-
and less
Yeah, very
energetic.
sad.
Okay, we need to wrap this up.
Wrap it up. Oh,
Justin, did you say what your favorite thing about this movie was?
No, because it's in the next scene where Ford Fairlane, they go up to the big tower. Wayne Newton reveals himself to be the bad guy. He shoots Priscilla Presley. They threaten Ford Fairlane's guitar, which was owned by Jimi Hendrix. He's like, no, my axe.
It's like a big deal.
They toss him out the window, and then it's my favorite part where it cuts to like a shot of like them just static, but the camera's spinning around them as if they were falling. And Andrew Dice Clay goes, oh, my hair, oh.
Doing seemingly like a John Travolta impression,
Yes.
right?
Well, so what Andrew Clay was very good at doing was impressions.
Yeah.
That's actually how he ended his act. I think it was Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and Sylvester Stallone as like Boy Scouts,
Yeah.
and he's like a perfect mimic.
Oh, he's great. Yeah, he would do the Travolta, so that was him doing it. I think in one of the movies, I think it was Dice Rules, where he sold out Madison Square Gardens. I think he did some like Elvis songs as well. Like he had a whole band and everything.
Like Seth MacFarlane.
Oh, God.
You ever hear that story?
Singing the standards.
Seth MacFarlane had I think it was his birthday, and he threw a bash for all his employees, and it was being forced to watch him perform on stage for like 2 hours.
I'm
what
not
a fucking
surprised.
nightmare.
You know he has like 30 albums out too, right? Of him singing jazz standards.
That is
Insane.
It's a living nightmare.
He's a bit of a ego on that guy.
You could say he's in love with himself.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, we've all seen A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Nope.
I can't sit through that.
Nope, I can't say that.
Thank you.
Coming soon to Note That She Is a Bad Movie.
Oh, no,
God.
no.
Maybe that would be
I saw that
Patreon.
theatrically.
Oh, don't make me like anything in that movie.
So they fall down, and it's kind of like a comic thing where they have to like escape like outside and fall down.
Andrew
multiple
Dice Clay is
floors.
too fat, like Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah,
he like
gets
makes a hole,
stuck
doesn't go
into
through
the
it.
ceiling. Yeah, I mean it's well executed enough.
There is one funny shot. It's a very wide shot of the Capitol Records building with the kind of stuntmen climbing down the side of it. And then you can see in one of the offices, it's like a silhouette of somebody doing like the Pete Townsend like arm swing. Like doing
Really?
doing air guitar. It's very strange. And I never noticed it until I saw this like HD version.
That 4K is really great.
So after that, they escape, but I think they just go right to the concert, right?
Yeah, they confront Wayne Newton because they figured out his plan, and then they confront him on stage because he's it's the sort of effeminate guy that he was, I don't know, producing in the
Yeah, he's gonna. Did we mention that we did, right? That Wayne Newton is having all of his artists killed because of revenge, but also he's like making
We
money.
did not mention that.
We didn't? Okay. But he's like making money off them posthumously because he's like, oh, his album is doing great since he died.
Yeah,
Right,
but that's,
it's like-
he's only killing
I mean-
the people that knew about his piracy plan, which happened to be
Oh,
Priscilla
yeah, I guess
Presley
so.
and Vince Neil
And Morris Day.
and Gilbert Gottfried.
Well,
yeah,
that's a lot of people knew about.
yeah, it's not much of a plan.
Right.
And trying to get
But he
Zuzu
wants
too.
to kill Morris Day because isn't Morris Day a performer, and then he'll get his money?
Well, he's a producer.
Oh, and he tried
Right.
to blackmail. He also tried to blackmail. Wayne
I
Newton.
don't know.
And it's a
It's-
very
And then we
It's a
get
very
the great
convoluted
line
plot.
where Wayne Newton's about to kill Morris Day, and Morris Day goes, "With friends like you, I don't need enemas."
great joke.
Which reminded me of Batman. I didn't like the Joker say that, and
Maybe.
Jack Nicholson?
Daniel Waters also wrote Batman Returns. So
did he really?
So he's just
Yep, he
reusing
did.
his own joke. And then there's a great moment at the end where Wayne Newton reveals his horrible secret to everybody
On a
'cause
hot
it's a
mic.
hot mic, which I am learning. That's what
Oh.
it's called in the trope.
The hot mic
movie
reveal?
tropes. Yeah,
Hot mic
happens.
confession.
I
so many-
really liked when Andrew Dice Clay goes, "Look, we found your CDs," and Wayne Newton's like, "Did you?" And then he grabs them and he eats them.
starts chewing them, and his mouth gets all bloody and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know what CDs are made of, but have you ever tried breaking one with your hands?
They're hard to break.
I've broken one before.
Not only are they hard to break, but when you do break them, it's like the reverberations through your hand is really painful.
Well,
for some
also
reason.
like they tend to shatter, and like that plastic or whatever is very sharp.
So I wonder if that blood out of his mouth was actually real.
No, he needs his mouth. He's a
Yeah,
singer.
Wayne Newton's like method. He's like, "Give me the hardest CD you have." As many of you know, Mr. Newton's strongest feature, and this is Newton speaking because I speak in the third person.
Are his teeth?
His teeth are the strongest part.
His fake
of the Wayne
teeth.
Newton
Maybe he like
body.
messed up
Yeah.
his face, and that's why he had to get like plastic surgery years later.
Yeah,
But
he like took a bullet to the teeth or something like that.
well, Lauren Holly has a big fight scene in the alleyway. She
Apparently, she knows karate.
well, it's set up earlier in the movie that she's taking karate lessons.
Well, that's good of Ford Fairlane to pay for her karate lessons.
Oh, he definitely did not pay for those
Well,
lessons.
he says earlier that he actually can't afford to pay for them because he's getting paid in in bicycle shorts and koalas.
And he's like, your karate lessons cost money, Jays. And then she beats up one of the assassins that threw her out of the... and then Sam the sleazebag, David Patrick Kelly, comes to the rescue at the end of this movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because, Lauren Holly can't save herself. She needs Sam the sleazebag.
He's
to do the
reformed.
same.
Yeah, and then like the fucking Pussycat dolls are like love Sam the sleazebag now, even though he was a horrible stalker, and then he was like calling them bitches and stuff. It was not a good look.
He's reformed. He says, I was like you, preying on women, blah, blah, blah. So he's learned his lessons, I guess. I don't know.
Whatever, sure.
But Wayne Newton dies a horrible
Oh,
death.
yeah, with the Sambuca Milkshake. Chekhov's Sambuca Milkshake comes into play.
Which is pretty funny. So it gets thrown on him, and Dice Man throws a cigarette, and he just goes up.
Yeah,
and there's
he-
a stunt man on fire, which is, I appreciated that.
And Ford Fairlane's like, he's rubbing his hands together, like getting warmth off of it. Like, oh. And then he lights another cigarette off of him, I think. And then we get Ed O'Neill shows up
Ford
again.
Fairlane's just like licking the dead body of Wayne Newton. Tastes like fig.
But then Ed O'Neill shows up again, and he's in like John Travolta's Saturday Night Live suit. And he's like, God, why did I have to get called in? It was disco night at the other place, at some other bar.
Again, this like, oh, he likes disco, so he's not cool. Like, come on,
Yeah.
guys, lay off.
But yeah, April. Disco's great,
I
right?
love disco.
He ends up singing his Booty Time song, and then Morris Day overhears him, and he's like, hey, were you the lead singer of Disco Express? And he's like, yeah, I got a lot of songs. And he's like, well, I'm all ears.
Well, Morris Day in the time was disco, right? Or was it more soul?
No, they were like kind of Prince proteges, weren't they? Or
Yeah, they were.
More R&B?
weren't they like his backing band or something?
I don't know.
know.
I'm not an expert. Morris Day and the Times was the
Day-
band that he was part of.
Morris Day was in Purple Rain, I think.
Oh, was he?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was.
He was Prince's nemesis in Purple Rain.
Well, so this is not his first acting role then.
Oh, man. It's Morris Day.
So the movie ends. Everybody loves Ford Fairlane, like they did throughout the rest
yeah,
of the
and
film.
then he's like, oh yeah, I was supposed to solve the mystery of what happened to this little kid's father, which is completely shoved on the sidelines the entire movie.
Well, it turns out that Freddy Krueger there.
He does first. He doesn't know.
I
for
really
sure.
like this moment where like Freddy Krueger shows up right at the end. He's like, "I'm still alive."
Yeah.
He's like, "Let's fight!" And like Dice Clay gives like his Oscar speech where he's like, "Come on, come and get me."
Yeah, and then he just shoots him.
Yeah, just shoots him.
Shoots him.
Yeah, he does the old, let's go mano a mano. And then he's like, shoots him, I can't believe you're an idiot. I can't believe that worked. And it goes on for like 5 minutes,
Yeah.
him like talking about it.
And then the kid meets on the beach. It turns out that Robert Englund had strangled the kid's dad and stole like a ring. That's how he identifies it. So he tells the kid, oh, your dad's dead. Which is really kind of sweet scene because he's like, I'm going to adopt you or whatever.
The thing is, he doesn't even say like your dad's dead. He's like,
He does.
I found him, but
No, he says he's
No, he
dead.
does say his dad because he goes, "I'm your dad," and the kid's
now.
like, "Stop joking," and he's like, "I'm sorry, kid, your dad's dead."
I killed him. But
he couches it in, I'm going to be your dad now.
He says like he
what
told
a
me to.
sweetheart.
And then Jazz shows up on the beach and he's
She
like
forgives him.
He's like,
of
oh, I'm
course.
sick of all those women. I just want you. And then there's a running gag throughout the movie that I think it was Gilbert Gottfried's radio K-Dirt. It was like running this, I don't know, promotional
Oh yeah,
like
a
contest.
$1 billion contest, which no radio program.
No,
would
it's a
ever
million.
do.
So if you answer the phone with hit pay dirt with K Dirt, you win this like $1 million.
I feel like
getaway.
it was $1 billion.
I don't think it was $1 billion.
$1 billion, Colin.
I don't know.
$1
Well,
billion.
it doesn't matter. Andrew Dice Clay wins, and the film ends with him and his new family, Lauren Holly, the kid, and who's that? The koala puppet.
But I love it. The koala's in this neck brace, and it's sitting on
Didn't
this.
even catch that.
It's just like sitting on this like reclining seat, wearing like a Hawaiian shirt, drinking like a Mai Tai or something. And he's like, "What? You didn't think we'd kill the fucking koala,
and he
did you?"
looks at the camera, right? So this is the ultimate, like breaking the fourth.
And then the koala
Well,
goes.
he breaks the fourth wall earlier. Remember when he's sitting in a car and he's narrating, and he's like,
Yeah, he turns the-
You're probably wondering how I got here." And blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
which is, so it's odd because it's like it only happens like a couple times in the movie, but like whatever at this point,
Whatever.
One thing I will say about this movie as a detriment, I want it to be 90 minutes. It's an hour 45.
Oh, is it?
And that this is probably a script thing because the the plot is just a little too complicated, as we described. A few more elements and a few more characters needed to be removed, and then it could have been a tight 90. 45, it's just a little too.
Yeah, it's a little too much. I think if you cut out all the O's, like you could probably get it down to like
but then
90.
you lose the emotional core of this
If you
film,
cut out
Colin.
anytime anyone said rock and roll detective, and maybe if they just said RRD, then it would be 20 minutes shorter.
Wait, Colin, where do you stand on the Claysters' follow-up to this, Albert Pujo's Brain Smasher: A Love Story?
Was that after this?
Yes, I believe it was maybe only a year after
Oh my
this.
God.
It was not long.
I've never seen it. I've only heard about it. What was that one like with Anna Nicole Smith? Like Tower Heist or something like that?
Yes. Oh, no. What is it called? It's really good. It's Die Hard, but it's... No, I don't think it's Anna Nicole Smith. I think it's like
It's
Shannon Elizabeth.
No, it's Gene Simmons' wife. Shannon
right.
Tweed.
Shannon Dorsey.
Shannon Tweed.
Tweed.
There you go. I'm going to say every Shannon I know before we finally get to her. No, Brain Smasher: A Love Stories. Andrew Dice Clay and Terry Hatcher.
Oh my God.
Are chased through. I don't know which city it is. Portland? No. San Francisco by ninjas. What? AKA not ninjas, Shaolin monks, as they keep saying.
Oh my God. I've never.
And it takes place over one night. Very charming Andrew Clay performance.
I did not know that
sounds
was the
good.
plot of that movie.
Oh, the Shannon Tweed one is called No Contest.
No Contest. Okay.
He is not credited as Andrew Dice Clay. He's credited as only Andrew Clay. It also has Roddy Piper as one of the villains.
Oh my God.
I didn't realize that Andrew Dice Clay did so many movies. I mean, not like a huge filmography, but more than just this.
I think even back before like his stand-up got really huge, I think you'd see him pop up from time to time as like a bouncer.
Well,
or something.
he was in Wacko, the parody film directed by Graydon Clark. He was in Amazon Women of the Moon on the Moon. He's in the last segment. He's like the video date segment. You know what I'm talking about, right, Colin?
Yeah, I got to rewatch that movie.
I don't know anything about that movie.
And supposedly he was good in Casual Sex from 1988, which I have not seen.
Yeah, that's really weird. But it's just as soon as Blue Jasmine came out, like I hadn't seen it, but
Well, I think
everybody was talking about him.
I know he hadn't been in anything for a
very
while
long
at
time,
that point.
yeah.
It was kind of like the return.
But he's continuing to do like stand up. I think in Vegas. So he's
No, he has?
Yeah.
He had his own TV show for a while. That was like a Marin / Larry David style show.
Oh, weird.
Called, was it just Dice? Yeah, it was just Dice.
Oh, God.
Lasted 2 seasons.
Oh, wow. Well, there you go.
Now, was that a HBO? Dice should have aired on Vice.
No. Well, he also got a like second win from Entourage. He played himself.
Oh, of course.
Why am I
Of
not
course he did.
surprised? Okay. Well, we gotta.
Whoa, Marge Simpson just showed up for a
That was
second
supposed to be
there.
Gilbert. That was my
Surprise!
Gilbert Gottfried. Oh, it's terrible.
Oh. Welcome to Gilbert Gottfried's amazing colossal podcast. I don't
I'm
have very
gonna have a
good
heart
Gilbert
attack
Gottfried.
and die from not surprised. No, you're right. I sound like Marge or Patty or Selma.
Miss Bouvier, are you okay? You sound like one of the Simpsons writers trying to imitate Julie Kavner.
And then she goes. So I mean, this movie brought me back. I think it's a really funny movie. It still worked for me.
You gonna bring the pompadour back? You can still grow
No,
it.
He just cut a haircut. Or he just cut his own hair.
There's like multiple times during this lockdown / quarantine that's been going on for a year where I was like growing my hair really long and seeing like how I could do the pompadour.
I'm pushing for you to just
You
let it
are,
grow long.
But it gets so unwieldy and I just can't do anything with it, and so I just cut it off.
Yeah.
So
Oh. Well, maybe grow it for October. Go as the Dice Man or Fairlane for Halloween.
I don't even know if we'll be able to go to Halloween
You'll
parties.
just take photos on Instagram
In
and be
October.
like,
yeah, it'll be a virtual Halloween.
Yeah. So, as we've been saying, like, this was a fun watch. Like, I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it, yeah.
Obviously, it has some horrible dated things. It has some humor that doesn't work, but it kind of like it's charming.
Yeah,
I would say it's charming in its own way.
He's kind of a charming asshole in this movie. In the same way, like, Danny DeVito is kind of a charming asshole in his roles that he plays.
wait, like Ford Fairlane type roles?
No,
Starring
how like Danny
DeVito.
DeVito is always like a sleazy asshole in most of the things he plays, but you kind of like him anyway, regardless. And that type of thing.
Danny DeVito, big progressive.
There you go.
You mean like It's Always Sunny? That's a good example.
Or like everything,
yeah.
like Romancing the Stone, Head Office.
What is it? Terrible People. That's not what it's called. The Zucker films
I haven't
that
seen
nobody
like
talks about.
any of the older Danny DeVito stuff. Like
Taxi.
I haven't seen him in anything since like before Batman Returns. I don't think. I mean,
Oh yeah, he's in War of the Roses, and he directed it too.
Yeah, that's right. And Hoffa.
I know him from Matilda the most.
Oh, there you go.
He directed Matilda as well.
It's funny what you were just saying about how like sleazy / lovable is that in that movie he plays the narrator with this like super sweet, kind voice that you're like, oh, but then he's also like the mean dad. So he's
okay.
like, that duality is in that role. Anyway, we're not talking about Danny DeVito.
Yeah,
we're
what the
talking
hell?
about the Dice Man.
Oh.
Yeah, as we said, unfortunately, this movie is not very available right now.
It's shocking to me.
I'm sure it
Wait,
will get a
I have another
re-release.
Danny DeVito joke. Did you know that Danny DeVito plays a character of the sleazy guy, and it just kind of became who he is?
like Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah.
There you go.
When
Danny
DeVito would do
Dice
stand-up.
DeVito.
He used to be tall, and he kind of shrunk himself down through surgery. All right, yeah, so the movie's not available.
Yeah, it is if you look for it. But you know,
Justin was lucky enough to get a Blu-ray, but it is out of print.
it's like $99 on Amazon.
I guess because it's such a hot button item.
Well, you never know. It might be on like the U.S. Amazon Prime because they have stuff that we don't have.
It's possible.
Yeah.
This feels like something that should be on Tubi.
Not
Yeah.
even on Tubi, which is crazy.
I was gonna say there must be VHS copies floating around out there for you.
There's DVDs too, like there's Blu-rays
I
and
thought
DVDs.
you said it didn't
so-
get a DVD release.
No, it did get a DVD release.
Oh, okay.
I thought you said it didn't.
Yeah.
But
Oh, did I? Then I was wrong. People have stayed in suspense until
Hey,
now.
well, I've got a-
No, I said because you could pick up the DVD like when they would have those deals like 2 for $7. Please just take these movies from us. Fairlane was always in that set.
I've got a Betamax copy somewhere that
dubbed off
somebody can buy for me.
another VHS.
I believe people have VCRs. I don't know about Betamax.
Hey, come on. It was the better of the formats.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, so that's it for Ford Fairlane.
Okay, and if you want to email the podcast, we're at no such thing as a bad movie at gmail.com. You can tweet at us at no such thing pod, and you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/no such thing as a bad movie. We've got lots of bonus content on there, a full episode on Spawn, a Q&A special that we just did where we answer your questions, mini episode every 2 weeks if you're on the $5 level. The one that's coming out next week is going to be on the Godzilla versus the King Kong, Donkey Kong.
Godzilla v. Kong, Dawn of
Versus the
Justice.
King Kong.
Yeah, boy, I can't keep that straight. And if you want to tweet at me, I'm at April Mansky, also on Instagram, Letterboxd, all those fun places.
You can follow me on Twitter. It's DeCloux, DECLOUX, and the letter J. I'm also on Letterboxd. I'm on Instagram as well. Don't post there very often. Or you can listen to me on stuff like the Important Cinema Club or the Bay Street Video Podcast.
And you can follow me on Twitter. I'm Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA. Oh.
And that's it for this week. Any parting Andrew Dice Clay impressions? Apparently he said hickory dickory dock a lot, which is insane.
Well, because he would do filthy nursery rhymes, which we cannot say on this.
Little boy blue. He needed the money. Oh.
What do you think rhymes was Doc? I'll give you one guess.
Yeah.
That's it for this week. I'm April Mansky. Oh.
I'm Justin DeCloux. Oh!
I'm Colin Dice Cunningham.
Oh, and remember, there's no such thing as a bad movie.
Oh!
Terrible.
So obnoxious.